Hoop Nation in the building. Roll call is done. But today we gonna go over She's topic. Chad Brinker. Who is Chad Brinker? Yeah, I've been doing my research. I've been popping in on podcasts. I've been tapping in with people, just really trying to get to the meat and the potatoes of this situation. And I want y'all to look at something. And this something is something that really perturbs me. I know I told my boys over at Titans Coliseum podcast, if you're a Titan fan, you for sure want to check my boys out over there, man. Been on their podcast before, as y'all know. And this really bothers me, man. This really bothers me. I'm about to pull it up on the screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. This right here is the mission statement. Shout out to Zach Lyons on Twitter. It's a lot of content people I follow and I interact with and engage with. Don't know him personally, but I know this is a statement from Chad Brinker from last year. I know Rand and we've had a lot of conversations just around philosophically how to build a football team. And we're just so aligned, he and I, going back to this word that the Tennessee Titan organization used to throw out last year, which was collaboration, meaning that they weren't collaborating well with Mike Vrabel. You really want to build your team through the draft. I mean, that's Rand and I. That's our background. That's where we come from philosophically. We were built through the draft, develop young players, retain our core performance. I mean, that's as simple as I can make it. We're trying to add impact players. And when it comes to free agency, we're going to pay a premium for that. And when we met each other, we just clicked. It was like we were long lost brothers. It just works. Yo, Big Jeff with another 40-50. So, after what I just read to y'all, how does that go from
Let me teach
we're
you
so
how to
aligned,
vibe.
we're like long lost brothers, we can't live without each other. Mike Vrabel was the problem.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Power struggle, wait 3 days, fire Mike Vrabel, till we get to this situation that we're in now. I just gotta know. I just gotta know it. How did we go from this Amy, Brian Callahan, Rand, and Chad Brinker to this guy is the reason why the Tennessee Titans are 3-14? Now, I'm all for if Amy felt like Chad was outworking Rand and she had a better situation to move Rand out the picture and let Chad run the show. I'm cool with that if it means the team get better. But guess what? Of these people right here, because Mike Vrabel is clearly out of the picture and clearly Mike Vrabel wasn't the problem as a head coach, right? Right? Let me get that fixed. Let me get that fixed. Let me get that fixed. I need that full screen. Now, if that's the case, who's responsible for since since John Robinson got fired? Who's responsible for the choice to move up and take Will Levis? Is it Brinker? Is it Rand? Because what we're hearing is Rand didn't have that much power. Was it Amy? Was it what Amy wanted? Who chose Skoronski? Who chose to trade up and get Tajay Spears? Okay. Who wanted Andre Dillard? You see what I'm saying? Like, who wanted to give Dillard $10 million a year? Who pushed to have Taylor Lewan's last year cut, even though it's unguaranteed? It was a smart financial move, but it took up until the point that we got J.C. Latham to cover that. Who wanted to go after Calvin Ridley? Who wanted to go after Pollard? Who wanted to go after L'Jarius Sneed? Who pulled that trade? We know Bill Callahan wanted Leroy Watson. That's why we got Leroy Watson. Who who pushed to re-sign Jeffrey Simmons, who pushed to re-sign Nick Westbrook Akene, which was probably arguably the most productive Titan numbers wise for the money that we spent on him. Who wanted the Ernest Jones trade? Who wanted to bring Baker back in that trade? You know, like all these. Who wanted Jamal Adams that came along with Quandre Diggs? Because we knew they was looking for Quandre Diggs before Jamal Adams. He wound up being a piece of the puzzle. But you lose Elijah Molden in that twist. Whose idea was it to let Molden go and go after other safeties? Whose idea was it? Who wanted to let go of Haskins and keep Chestnut? Like, I need to know who of these people on the screen, whose idea were each one of those moves. Now, if it goes back that the majority of the good moves was Chad Brinker's idea and his hard work, and it wasn't ran, and some of these deals that didn't go through correctly was ran, then I ain't got no problem with it. But if we being real and we looking at this screen and we saying a 3-14 football season, who's more responsible for it? Two quarterbacks who were probably the worst quarterbacks in the league, more turnovers than touchdowns? Was it Brian Callahan, rookie head coach, who looked a little bit overwhelmed at times, calling plays for the first time as a rookie head coach, who may be asked by Chad Brinker and Amy and the new GM to relinquish play calling and hire an offensive coordinator with their help, because Chad Brinker is the one really pulling the strings and going to have ultimate say-so over player personnel no matter who he brings in at GM. Was it Rand? Was it Rand's idea of these two QBs and this coach and some of the roster moves he made that wind up ultimately having the team 3-14? Or was it Amy? Did Amy want Will Levis against Mike Vrabel's willpower? Was it who wanted Malik Willis to be traded? All these different things that we had, to me, seems like Chad Brinker is allowing Rand Carthen, Mike Vrabel, and next year Brian Callahan to be a human shield for whatever moves that don't go wrong. I feel like he's got rid of Mike Vrabel. He's got rid of Rand. He's going to get rid of Mason Rudolph, Will Levis, and ultimately Brian Callahan. It's going to be nobody left but Chad Brinker and Amy's ear, because I'm going to tell you what this year looks like when you look at it from a big picture. John Robinson got fired because A.J. Brown embarrassed the Titans in that Eagles game. And he did the belt-to-ass celebration after he scored his second or third touchdown. I don't know how many he scored, but they scored about 50 points. And Titans putting on those Oilers uniforms to tank. Some of these tough losses this year, no tougher than trading Malik Willis for a 7th-round draft pick and watching Malik Willis go 3-0 as a starter, the same number of wins as these two guys had combined, 200 yards passing, 75 yards rushing, 13 and 18 passing in that game. And he came in and put belt the ass in Nashville. And I know it's a tough thing for Amy to see the quarterback that was drafted with one of the picks from the A.J. Brown trade with Traylon Burks probably not even in uniform that game. So you look at it, who's responsible for what the situation that the Tennessee Titans is in? We know it's not Mike Vrabel. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to get in today. And who exactly is Chad Brinker? And from what I've heard, he's got the ear of Amy, and Amy's daughter is marrying a guy that's really tight with Chad Brinker. And if Burke Nahill has pulled off this deal to get Amy this new stadium, and he has the ear of the guy that's about to marry her daughter, it seems like what nobody wants to say is some good old boy network stuff, that this guy has moved everybody out the way, and no matter who he picks in this draft, no matter who we get as bridge as a veteran backup, no matter how this draft unfolds with all these extra picks and the $70 million worth of cap that was cleared up, all of John Robinson's mess by this guy, Rand Carthon, where they're saying it wasn't him, it was really Chad Brinker. Brian Callahan by the bye week next year will be out, and he'll have another lapdog at GM with no power in front of him, and they'll go hire another coach. And it won't be nobody on this screen left but Chad Brinker and Amy. And Chad was hired by Rand Carthon. Now, if you ask me, that seems like some military coup. I know some people on internet spell check. They was tripping because my coup was spelled COO and not COUP. Who cares? Y'all know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, this just screams dysfunction. And it may be that Chad Brinker and his new GM and Brian Callahan go out here and draft Shedeur Sanders, make some trades, brings in Daniel Jones or somebody at a cheap price as a bridge. The Tennessee Titans could go out and compete for the division next year, spend some of that $70 million in cap, fix the right end of the line, draft a nasty edge in the second round, pick up a lot of talent, maybe Scatterbo or Dylan Sampson or Ollie Gordon or somebody in the third or fourth round with these extra picks. Titans might wind up with everything they need. L'Jarius Sneed might come back next year healthy. You re-sign Nick Westbrook or Kenne. You got Tyler Boyd. You got Calvin Ridley. You might pick up another speed demon to actually play the slot correctly. Traylon Burks is gone. You might make some more moves. The Tennessee Titans may be in a great position next year. If they pick the quarterback position correctly, this will all go away. And we'll go back to clapping, but we still got our side eye. But I'm telling you, and I'm saying this now, if they miss on this QB situation with this bridge and this number 1 draft pick, Callahan gonna be fired, the GM and Chad Brinker, everybody gonna be gone. Amy gonna be looking to open a stadium in 27 with another new vision, which is the same vision they've always had, because it's only really one solid way for a team to build their team, have a solid front office like some of the legacy teams that continue to win year in and year out. If that happens, the Titans are in the dark age for a decade. They'll be at the bottom of the AFC South for 10 years. It's an entanglement. Corey, you don't know enough people to get in and get that job. And if you do get that GM job, you might be fired by halfway through the season. Keith, that's what all the former players that I know have always said. They said it's something weird about the culture in Nashville. It's too buddy. It's too clicked up. It feels like the country club of almost like a high school. And this right here is the reason you're now going to have a new GM that's going to be tied to Brian Callahan and whatever he decides to do at QB. And for what I'm seeing, when they bring this new GM, Brian Callahan has no say-so over who they pick, and the GM doesn't. This man right here, Chad Brinker, has sole proprietorship of that first draft pick and with that, this $70 million cap free, the first pick in the second round, the first pick in the first round, the 2 4th round picks, the 2 5th round picks, the 6th and the 7th, and the $70 million in cap. He's got sole trigger man on whatever happens with the Tennessee Titans pretty much rests in one man hand. And from what I've seen, I'm not so sure. It's in shambles, Corey. Yo, Coop with the 50 ball. Appreciate the love. Dragon stickers in the chat. Man, appreciate everybody tapping in. This is a sad situation because I don't see this from good franchises. I don't see this from the Chiefs. I don't see it from the Packers. I don't see it from the Niners. The good franchises don't handle business this way. And the saddest part about it is Burke Nahil has said that he speaks and Chad Brinker speak for Amy. They're declining to speak to any of the local media in Nashville. Paul Kaharski has basically came out in some kind of way. He is, but he's not, kind of endorsing this move to clear out Rand and put Chad Brinker in. And Jim Wyatt is gonna spin, Mike Keefe is gonna spin, and I love those people. I get a lot of information from watching their content, and they articles over the years. Those are the senior writers that cover the Titans. But Buck, Teron Davenport, Easter Freeze, all them guys, A to Z, all them guys just feel like I feel. This just seems the zone. Some of the former players, Dyson, and some of them guys I've listened to what they had to say. It just don't seem right, man. Just don't seem like having an owner that won't come out and say, "Hey, man, we fired a GM, a head coach, a GM. We're gonna hire a GM, and if it don't work, we all know. Everybody on earth knows if Antonio Pierce got fired and Gerard Mayo got fired, all these guys that's winning 3 and 4 and 5 games are all getting fired." Brian Callahan has the worst record in the league, and he's being slightly asked to find an OC to call plays so he can just focus on being a head coach, so he can focus on defense and special teams, which was dead last. And Coach Anderson, at this point, still has his job, which how I don't know. But we're in a space of the unknown. I don't think I've ever seen the Titans franchise be in this position. Yo, Jeff with another 10 ball. Appreciate the love. Dragon stickers in the chat. This is scary though, because if this guy wants to look like a genius, it's gonna be bad for us. I listened to Max Shay's podcast talking about the Titans. Max Shay was saying that he now has more time with his new setup to go over about 400 players pre-draft, which he said he used to could only go about 50 players deep. And he was saying that, people are hot and cold on Shedeur and Cam Ward, but in his opinion, he'd take Shedeur and get a bridge and start there. He said he listened to Field how valuable that number 1 pick is, but if he didn't sound like he was going to get the farm, Shedeur and a bridge would be the easy option for him, because he said if you taking Travis Hunter, then you be in the same position next year if your bridge don't work. I'm going to be real. I can hear what those people are saying, but let me ask you a question. Last year, it was Caleb Williams paints his nails and Jaden Daniels is too skinny. This year is they don't know about Shedeur. They don't know about Cam Ward. The year before that was Bryce Young's too small and CJ Stroud can't pass the aptitude test. In the last 3 years, the 1-2 QBs all have a similar affliction. I ain't got to say what it is, but if you mean to tell me this season what we've watched play quarterback and some of these teams around the league, which is 6 teams in the top 10 that are looking at QBs, it's the Titans, it's the Browns, it's the New York Giants, it's the Jets, it's the Raiders. When you look at those teams and look at Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, I take my chances with Shedeur and Cam Ward. When it comes to the Jets, and nobody really wanting to have Aaron Rodgers come in and shake their franchise up in their last year and bail on everybody, I'm pretty sure that you say, give me Cam Ward, Shedeur. If you're the New York Giants and you've lost Saquon Barkley, the 2,000-yard rushing champ, and Daniel Jones got cut, and you're looking at Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock, I'm pretty sure you're saying, give me Shedeur, Cam Ward. If you're the Cleveland Browns and you had the first ever fully guaranteed $250 million contract and Deshaun Watson just hasn't worked out, I love Jameis Winston. Dorian Thompson-Robinson hasn't worked out. I'm taking Shedeur, Cam Ward. If I'm Tennessee Titans and people got trash bags on their head and I got about 10% of my stadium field in an Oiler game versus the Texans at home to end the season, and I'm about to build a new stadium in 27, we breaking ground, I take Cam Ward or Shedeur when I'm looking at Will Levis and Mason Rudolph play quarterback this season. I just don't know where this thought of like, you're feeling like it's such a risk. It's really not. When the Panthers finally figured out how to put things around Bryce Young. You see what Bryce Young has done. You see what CJ Stroud has done. You see that Caleb Williams is not the problem in Chicago. You see what Jaden Daniels has done. Like, all you do is just got to go back and look at it and say, all right, this guy's got $70 million in cap. He's got a bunch of picks, and it's still a chance that if it's depending on what team, if it's the Cleveland Browns, you safe to trade back. Only the Giants and the Raiders and the Jets, you're not safe to trade with because they're going to take the QB you want. And if the Browns ain't offering me nothing that sounds sufficient for me, at number one, I just take Shador and I call the Vikings and say, give me Daniel Jones off y'all practice squad. We're going to give him $10 million and let him come be a bridge. Sounds like a plan to me. Because as much as I rag on Daniel Jones is better than Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. And it ain't to say that Will Levis could get traded to a team that know how to develop him and get some of the mental blocks that he have to process the football game, because he's got all the physical talent. It may work. It might be like Malik Willis going to the Packers and being 3-0 as a starter. What's the risk 2 times? What's worse than being 3-14? Nick say, I feel like the Giants go Hunter, then go after Milroe early second or trade up. This the thing though, Nick. Let's say they take Travis Hunter and Milroe comes off the board. Let's say the Pittsburgh Steelers draft Milroe. Where do you go after that? Now you got Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors and nobody to get him the football. You picking first again next year. Yo, Big Jeff with the 50 ball. Exactly, Corey. Vikings signed they signed him to the active playoff roster because, you know, it's the playoffs. You want them on your active roster. But soon as their season is over, I'll be calling trying to get Daniel Jones. Because you can get him cheap. Physically, Daniel Jones got all the tools. He's won playoff game before. I mean, that's better than Mason Rudolph and Levis. And that's nothing against your cap. And then when you look at the other bridges, I'm not trading for Carr. I'm not trading for Kirk Cousins. Justin Fields could potentially be an option, but I mean, that's another project. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need somebody that could come in, and if I need them to play half a season, they could play half the season. I'm cool with Daniel Jones being a cheap starter for half a season or a full season. If I drafted Shador or Cam Ward. That's a good second option. A great second option if you ask me. But when you just look around the league, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and your other bridges is Jake Browning, Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker, J.J. McCarthy potentially, non-potentially, depending on what the Vikings do. I mean, when you just look around the league, and the funny part is, if you listen to Mac Shea podcast, he says the only teams that didn't know Sam Darnold will be good if he had a team around him was the Jets and the Panthers. That's like, and that's funny is that T-Mac and then sign a quarterback, right guard, right tackle. The thing about doing that is you trading back to get him. And if you trading back and you, like, the top 5 is kind of solidified, like Shador, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Mason Graham, the D tackle from Michigan, and T-Mac. Those are the top players on the board that I have a hard time seeing somebody pick outside those 6 players, depending on the order. If you trade him back and you don't get him, then behind that, the drop off is pretty big. This draft is loaded in the 2nd to 5th round with talent. This draft is loaded right there. I mean, that's your Ollie Gordons, that's your Milrose, that's your Ewers, that's your Landon Jacksons, that's your Jahad Campbells, That's like all them linebackers, all them edge guys, like all them safeties, them DBs. Like it's loaded right there. So I mean, like, far as what the Tennessee Titans need, I don't see that. I don't see that. But I mean, T Mac is gonna be Mike Williams' son, so I mean, I don't think if the Vikings beat the Rams this weekend, I don't see Sam Darnold leaving Minnesota. I'm sorry. Like he's a quarterback that, according to the scouts, was saying he's a QB that a lot of people wanted. If you the Vikings and he came in after the season they had last year and basically lit the league up, I'm having a hard time believing that if you can give him like a 3-year $100 million guaranteed contract, somewhere in that range, like Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith got, I don't see the Vikings. Like, Vikings don't have a lot of money tied up. They got a lot of young players. I don't see them outside of Jay Jettis. I don't see them changing that. Sam Darnold hit free agency. I don't think so. Like, and let me tell you why. I just have a hard time believing that when a team gets somebody, that they'll move it. Now, this could be something crazy. What if the 49ers let Brock Purdy walk and bring Sam Darnold back? That's about the only way I could see it working out. Because the 49ers got a lot of good players that they can move around, and they need to save some money somewhere because they're keeping Debo. They've came out and said they're going to keep Debo. And if McCarthy comes in and Sam Darnold goes to the 49ers, then maybe they keep Daniel Jones as their backup, and he's not even an option. Maybe the Steelers decide to keep Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they draft a guy. Some of these teams might just stockpile QBs. But, I mean, it's not like Sam Darnold is just handing the ball off. He's lighting it up. Left tackle from Texas. That don't make sense. Texas TV, why would you take the number 1 overall pick? 6 of the 10 teams in the first 10 picks need a QB. And Travis Hunter and T-Mac is there. And Abdul Carter. Why on earth would you take a left tackle and move your really good new young left tackle to right tackle? That's a waste of a pick. Like, you can draft the best right tackle in the draft, the best 1 or 2 right tackle in the draft. You could draft them in the second round if you want them. You got the first pick in the second round. It said you pay him as a starter when you have McCarthy. Yeah, you do. JJ McCarthy's had 2 knee surgeries and he hasn't taken an NFL snap. What if you let Sam Darnold go to the 49ers? They let Brock Purdy walk. JJ McCarthy comes in and don't finish the season. And you got, you got the best receiver in the league, and Addison sitting over there like this. You don't go from 14, 15 wins to just letting the guy walk sight unseen with a guy you hope can play like Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? Remember when the Lions had all them picks after the Stafford trade and people were saying they should let Goff go? It's like, they should let Goff go too and just draft a QB. That whole time they let Goff stay there.
Let me teach you how
and
to
look
vibe.
what Goff is now. Like, sometimes when it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Sam Darnold is young, Becker. Like, he just was on the Jets. Like, think about this. Geno Smith and Sam Darnold both came from the Jets. The Jets is just like the Titans and the Browns. They ruin QBs. Sam Darnold and Geno Smith both left that team, and they're starting on teams and like making the playoffs. Like, you just don't shake that up for nothing. Check the out. You saying you don't think the 49ers let Purdy walk? They just said they keeping Debo, and his agent says he wants $60 million. If he wants 60, they can't pay him 60. They can't pay him 60. If they pay him 60, like, do you know how many more play? If they keep Debo is 25, Bosa is max, Werner is max,
Let me teach
CMC
you how
is
to
max.
vibe.
If you get him 60, like how many players they got to let go if they keeping Debo Samuel? What? Yo, DB with the dragon, the 100 ball straight to the Cash App. Hashtag DB in the chat. Let me get some dragon stickers on the blue, the green, and the purple. Make sure y'all tapping in on the YouTube. These shop talks is hitting the YouTube daily. Said Purdy walk. Better hope the Titans grab him. We not giving him $60 million. See, he's looking for a max contract. Like, think about it. Lamar Jackson had an MVP and had to fight to get his 45, 50 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl to get paid. Burrow went to a Super Bowl to get paid. I know that Purdy has been to a Super Bowl.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
But Brock Purdy ain't no $60 million quarterback to me, man. I like him. I think he's really good for the Niners. I think they just had an unfortunate you feeling the Yankees logo? He had an unfortunate season with injuries. Like, I don't think he's a bad QB, but $60 million. Releasing Javon Hargrave, but want to work on a newer deal. Yo, Ravens Joe with the sub. Man, check out notifications. There might be some gifted subs out there. I don't know if it started over for the new year. Yo, Big Jeff say, hey, man, let me match that 80 ball. Another dragon to the... Dragon stickers in the chat. Keelan, what up? But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, when I look at these teams, and y'all tell me, when I look at these teams, I just look at the long term, or not emotionally getting charged and saying, let's make a crazy move. Because if you the Niners and you could give Sam Darnold 30 or 35, or you could give Cousins 27 and a half, and you could give, you know what I'm saying, the guys that's out there that you could go get to run your offense for half the price and draft another guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Purdy was a 7th round draft pick. I'm just not sure if I'm giving the 7th round draft pick Brock Purdy $60 million. Like, Tom Brady never asked for 60. Tom Brady was never the highest paid QB. So I'm saying his agent pushing for that much money. Like, Purdy has to take a team friendly deal. If he don't, I think they're gonna lose too much. If that's the case, man, they just need to. They saying they keeping Debo. They should trade Debo and CMC if they keeping Purdy. Double dragon in the building. But that's my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ran down the Chad Brinker, Callahan ran, Mike Vrabel, Amy. We ran down that situation. We continue to go down this number one. I'm pretty much sold right now. If I'm the Tennessee Titans, before the draft hits, I want to go get a good bridge. Preferably, depending on the options, after this playoff is over, I'd start fishing for that. I'd try to get that locked in pre-draft. And then once I have that, like, you could leave Levis as your third quarterback, bring in your bridge. And I'm telling you, if somebody's not willing to give up like what I got, and this is just me being real, the only team I would trade is with the Cleveland Browns, because it's low risk, high reward. You trade with the Browns, you might get your 3rd round plus some next year and plus extra picks back. You trade with anybody else, you risk not getting any of the real players that you want in this draft, including the Giants. I feel like if you trade with the Giants, they're going to take Shador. And then, because I even watched Shador's YouTube, and if you go look at his demeanor, the way he go about things, and then you watch what Will Levis was, bro, it's night and day personality wise on who I think can stand up to the flames. There's another thing people don't think about is the mental part. That's personally what I would do. If I couldn't get the farm from the Browns for that number 1 pick, I wouldn't trade with the Giants. I wouldn't trade with the Jets. I wouldn't trade with the Raiders. I'd just go ahead and take Shador. I bring my bridge in. 2nd round, I'm going to get Landon Jackson or Kennard. I want an edge that's gonna scream off that's gonna scream along with what I got, and I get to trying to re-sign Chance Campbell. Nick Westbrook or Kenne. I'm letting Traylon Burks go. I'm letting Jaquan Jackson go. I'm going through and I'm clearing my roster down to what I need. Chestnut, I'm sorry, brother, you out of there. And in them third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round picks, I'm putting a right guard. I'm putting a right tackle. I'm putting a running back. I'm putting a free safety. Like it's and I'm going receiver. Those are the picks that I'm taking, and I'm trying to get the best overall right side of my line I can get out of free agency. Because this is the other part that people don't think of. You could go get a decent veteran left tackle in free agency and move him to right tackle. It's not like you need a superstar. You just need somebody that ain't Nicholas Petit-Frere. 20 games? No. Ain't no players going to make it through the season. Winston to the Titans. I love Jay Boo, but nah. Banned 2 times. Look at Mud Leaks. I looked at it earlier today. I checked out some of the stuff that's coming. But my team in the playoffs, so I ain't expecting to get too much of nothing. Discord open. I think I answered all of Sheed's questions for this topic today. Shout out to Sheed, Bad Take Sheed. This is for sure gonna go up on YouTube tomorrow. What if Aller from Penn State jumps in the draft and Penn State's go far, win it all, and he comes out? That does flip the draft because I think, talking to CLE, I think the Browns would want that 1. Now, I ain't gonna lie. The 1 becomes more valuable if Aller comes out. I'm gonna tell you why. If Aller comes out and the Browns really want to go 1, I think the Browns would give us more for 1 than they would give us more for 1 than they would for Ward. They take him, and then like it could be some backdoor deal. I'd trade. I wouldn't trade that pick again. I'd take Shador too. Because I'm pretty sure the Giants would take Shador behind us. I'd have to go ahead and take him. I seen Van Bosch. I mean, I don't even want, 2 times, I don't want to know. We'll talk about that in a minute. Save that 2 times. See, that's what you need to put in that topic in the Discord. Save that. We're going to go back to that. Coop say, Dono game. Don't think he's coming out. Said he has things to work on. But Keith, then be real. If he goes to the national championship and the agent comes and said, let's say Mel Kiper and Max Shea says Aller would go number 1, he's coming out. If they say you're going to be the number 1 QB, you got to come out. And then the Browns would be a good situation for him because they still got Deshaun Watson. So they could take Aller and he could work on everything he need to work on behind Deshaun Watson. For sure, Joe. That's just my personal opinion. I wish we could get into the mind of Chad Brinker, but I'm pretty sure he's not gonna sit down with anybody in the media, Titans media, to talk, which is sad. I think as a fan, with everything we've been through, with all the hirings and firings and everything that's going on, I do think somebody in the ownership of the Titans, because we didn't hear from Rand. If Chad Brinker or Amy or both of them don't come out and make some public video, be asked some questions or stand the fire, like, they're gonna lose a lot of faith of the fans. They're gonna have to really get this, like, they're gonna have to really get this situation correct. I don't know, 2 time. Either way, if Penn State go to the national championship and they say Aller will be the first quarterback taken overall or second, he should come out. That's just my thought. Y'all got any more topics, questions y'all want to wrap in the shop? because I'm in the Discord.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Continue to like, comment, share the offline content, the reels, the YouTube shop talks go out in full form, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all Facebook, all social media platforms. Tap in with me. We're really trying to go up on this offline content, and now is a better time than ever. This next few months through the NFL draft, with the Titans having the number 1 pick. This is just about the perfect storm.
Let me
from
teach you how
me
to
being
vibe.
a content creator in a small market. But that's all I really, for sure. The topic that I had, I want to deal with this, with this Chad Brinker, Rand, Amy, Brian Callahan, Rudolph Levis, Mike Vrabel situation. Because I heard through the grapevine that I'm saying by listening to a lot of pods today that Mike Vrabel is sitting there saying, those meddling kids. Maybe it was Chad Brinker that got in Amy's ear about wanting to get Mike Vrabel, because I could see Mike Vrabel pushing for more part of. He's not like Callahan. He's not a rookie. I could see him pushing Chad Brinker and Rand for more power in personnel, because from what we seeing, Rand don't have any personnel power. Callahan don't have any personnel power. And whoever the new GM that's coming in ain't gonna have power over personnel. It's all gonna fall on Brinker. So maybe Vrabel was sitting there thinking, that's who got me.